Greetings, dear viewer, and welcome to Purposes Crossed, where I hope that people who are called by Jesus for different purposes cross paths and exchange ideas. In this video, we continue with our series of devotions on the Psalms, and today we are dealing with Psalm 34. Psalm 34 has a superscription that reads, "Of David, when he pretended to be insane before Abimelech, who drove him away and he left." This is very likely a reference to 1 Samuel chapter 21. But in that chapter, we have two episodes. The first is David's encounter with the priest Abimelech. This was the occasion when David and his companions ate the showbread. There is no indication of any pretending to be insane in this account. The second episode is when David goes to Gath and pretends to be insane in the presence of Achish, the king of Gath. So we have an oddity in the superscription of the psalm, since it indicates that David pretended to be insane when he was with Abimelech. So why did the final editor link this psalm to this event in David's life? And why did he state that David was acting insane when he spoke with Abimelech? Well, in 1 Samuel it says it was with Achish. The psalm is very general actually and does not allow us to pinpoint any episode from David's life. It has very conventional language about praising God. Even the difficult times that the psalm describes cannot be given much specificity. In fact, if we read the account in 1 Samuel, we will realize that going to Abimelech was not actually a very difficult thing for David. In fact, it was Abimelech who seemed to be afraid of seeing David at Nob. David manages to get the showbread from Abimelech by lying to him about being on a mission for Saul. He also manages to get possession of Goliath's sword. So nothing in the episode with Abimelech actually seems to be reflected in the psalm. What about the episode with Achish, the king of Gath? Here we see David getting afraid because Achish's soldiers seem to recognize him as the warrior about whom it was sung, "Saul has slain his thousands and David his 10,000s." In order to throw them off the track and believe that he was quite harmless, David pretends to be insane. So there is a situation here where David is feeling threatened. However, the psalm does not describe anything like what we read in the second half of 1 Samuel chapter 21. But the psalm reads like something right out of the pages of the Proverbs. There is wisdom language through and through, and despite the superscription, it would be best classified as a wisdom psalm. Now, what do I mean by wisdom language? Here are a few things from the psalm. We read, for example, "Taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the one who takes refuge in him." And "Fear the Lord, you his holy people, for those who fear him lack nothing." And "Come, my children, listen to me. I will teach you the fear of the Lord." And "Turn from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it." All such statements are classic wisdom language, which we would expect in the book of Proverbs. But here it appears in Psalm 34. Which was supposedly composed by David when he was pretending to be insane, either to Abimelech, as in the superscription, or to Achish, as in 1 Samuel 21. This is a classic case for realizing how it is not easy to interpret the Bible. Here we have a superscription that does not fit the psalm on the face of it. But the superscription itself misattributes something in the life of David. Given that the final editor of the psalm was not an unthinking idiot, but an astute Israelite, how do we make sense of the discrepancies? What seems to be happening is that the editor has taken this wisdom psalm that was ascribed to David and invites us to question what David did with Abimelech in getting the showbread by linking it to his pretending to be insane when he was with Achish. What the editor is asking us is, was David also pretending to be insane when he took the showbread? Or was he actually insane while taking the showbread? After all, no sane person would have thought that they could presume to eat the showbread, right? So when David took the showbread, was he tasting that the Lord was good? Was he expressing proper reverent fear of the Lord? Was it a turning from evil to do good or a turning from good to do evil? You see, the Bible is a rich collection of books with different voices in it. It is absolutely beautiful. But because it has different voices, there are different perspectives. And like many parts of the Bible, the superscription of Psalm 34 invites us to wrestle with the disparate voices in the scriptures, not to come away with a definitive answer, but to come away with the experience of having wrestled with the living God.